it's more about caring for our people, listening to them, than it is of actually from a operational sort of point of view, because right now there's so many people out there that are having some issues.
If you're distressed by the content of this Toolbox Talk, please call any of these organisations. It was estimated that there were 209,300 truck drivers in Australia in 2020, with an average age of 47 years. Heavy vehicle drivers work approximately 49 hours per week, 17 hours more than the average Australian. Transport is a male-dominated industry, with about 97% of truck drivers being men. Research shows that men who work in male-dominated industries have a higher rate of depression and suicide than other industries. In 2015, Safe Work Australia reported transport and logistics industries as having one of the highest rates of claims for work-related mental disorders. A study by the Coroner's Court of Victoria revealed that between 2008 and 2014, out of all professions, truck drivers had the highest number of suicides. Driving a heavy vehicle has been described as one of the unhealthiest and deadliest jobs in the country. Increased work hours, shift work, fatigue, irregular shifts, being away from families, and the need for mental alertness contributes to some drivers turning to alcohol and drug use. These health issues and behaviours affect not only the individual and their family, but also the entire community. The National Mental Health and Wellbeing Roadmap by Healthy Heads in Trucks and Sheds, or HHTS, presents the main risk factors affecting the mental health and wellbeing of heavy vehicle drivers in Australia. These factors include trauma and critical incidents. Heavy vehicle drivers are 13 times more likely to die at work than other employees in Australia. Long hours, shift work and fatigue, meaning that chronic sleep problems and fatigue are common amongst truck drivers. High job demand and low job control, where both factors limit the number of choices heavy vehicle drivers have in their daily activities, and which can compound a negative effect on their mental health. The isolation and social disconnection drivers can experience, where loneliness and depression are amongst the most common concerns reported by drivers. Heavy vehicle drivers are also 2 to 3 times more likely to report using stimulant drugs when paid on a payment by results or contingency payment basis. And mental health stigma, meaning a low likelihood of voicing concerns or seeking help in the industry, also contributes to mental health and suicide statistics.
You see it in some people's physical sort of, like if you see them day to day, and you see people, their heads will be down, shoulders will be down, or looking tired, and not concentrating and all that. So yeah, that's something I would sort of look at, and obviously if I'm talking to you daily and you sound differently, and so.
You're so much time alone. Alfred, there's a lot going through your head, and when you're in arguments, you're ticking away there. So the stress of the job can be very, very lonely. It's a lonely life. You got mates that they can read you, that work with you, and they know. That's all I want. That's all I ask for. I don't ask for any more, any less.
So majority of your stress would come from work, and then whatever's happening at home. So if you're having a good day at work, you're having a better day at home, aren't you? I think you carry the stress from work to home, regardless of what anyone says.
For me, the only time I have any kind of stress is if there's something unordinary that happens in my day that takes me out of my usual routine.
Yeah, obviously everyone has things in their life that in the back of their mind constantly, whether it be family members or that sort of stuff, relationships, whatever it is, finances in this day and age.
We'll probably be doing 50-hour a week, every one of us, so that 10 extra hour. If I say that gives me stress, but at the same time give me positive attitude and money as well, which I can spend where I like.
I think since I've been on the road, I've had, I've tried to have more patience, I think, with people on the road, but some days you just don't have it. Sometimes you think, why is this person beeping the horn and flipping me off when they can see what's going on? It's stressful, and yeah, it does get frustrating some days, so yeah.
Yeah, it's just you've got to, when you're driving a 30+ tonne machine on the public road, you sort of got to have your wits about you and concentrate on what you're doing and try not to let those things creep in. But I mean, everyone's human, they're going to do it from time to time. You've got to try and minimise it as much as you can.
Yeah, everyone's in a mad rush, and they're stressed, they're pushing onto everyone else, and everyone else is starting to get a little bit more stressed, and yeah, it's very stressful out there, to be honest.
If you have a store that you're delivering to and there's like roadworks that you confront on the way, and then you get redirected into like suburbia or something, and when you're in a 24 pan, it's like, that's not an ideal situation to be in. So those kind of situations kind of work you up a little bit, but majority of the time I think it's pretty good. I guess there's a lot of other people that maybe deal with a lot of other sort of mental health just due to the fact that you obviously do work a lot of hours. A lot of people do 6 days a week, and you know, maybe that might contribute to not being too happy because the work-life ratio doesn't quite match up.
I do listen to music, so music is one of the things that I do. Second thing, I'll just take a break, take off. For example, if I'm in the middle of somewhere or here, I'll just stop, think for a minute what I'm doing and how can I be better on it, and then keep myself calm and redo everything, start from the beginning, start from zero and try to avoid all those mistakes. That's how I do myself.
Oh look, when I go home it's different for me. I've got my 2 sons and my wife. I just do something with them. I switch off from work.
Oh, it's really just my friends, my family, my partner, you know what I mean? I feel like once you have people that you can just talk to and whatnot, it makes it quite easier just to come in, do what you need to do. And I also feel like being friendly with everyone, like I come in here and I talk to everyone and I get to know everyone, and it makes it a lot easier to actually want to come in here as well and to just catch up and talk and enjoy the workplace that you're working in.
Things I realise when you get a bit older, you don't worry about the small things anymore, you don't sweat the small things anymore, so you just only worry about the larger things in my life than things like this now, to be honest.
Leading heavy vehicle and mental health organisations in Australia have developed comprehensive strategies to support drivers in staying healthy. These recommendations follow the guidelines developed by Healthy Heads in Trucks and Sheds and the Health in Gear program by AusHelp. If you're a driver, get familiar with the impact of behaviours on different areas of your life, also known as determinants of health. Healthy sleep and exercise habits, balanced diet and social connections are crucial for well-being. For instance, physical exercise not only keeps the body healthy, but it also burns out stress. Also be aware of the long-term effects on your body and mind of abusing stimulants or medications for long periods of time. Know that well-being involves job and non-job related aspects of your life. And keep in mind that there are special dates or seasons that put additional pressure on supply chains, resulting on higher stress levels for drivers. Plan your well-being during these periods of time, share helpful strategies with your colleagues, and talk about it with your family and friends. This is a load you don't have to carry by yourself. And for employers, follow the Prevention Protection Support Framework developed by HHTS. Through multiple strategies and their respective actions, it aims to prevent harm intervene early, and support recovery. The 7 workplace strategies are to build leadership capability, increase awareness, build better workplace culture, build resilience and coping skills, early intervention, and to support recovery. To see the actions supporting each of these strategies, please visit the National Mental Health and Wellbeing Roadmap.
When I'm feeling down, the strategies I use, deep breathing. I tend to, when I stress, I tend to not breathe, kind of like hold my breath a little. So I am more aware of taking deep breaths in and out, going for walks outside of the truck. That's definitely important to me. Being able to park somewhere and either sit by a tree or be around grass and nature.
In a way, it is a little bit stressful because you tend to bring some of the stuff from work to home, which you shouldn't be. I mean, once you drive out that gate, it should stop there. And same as at home. I mean, once you walk out that door, it should stop there. It should be focusing on everyday issues that are out on the road. Because I mean, focus on being on the road I think is a big thing.
I try and switch off at the end of the day when I get home. And I wouldn't put any mental health issues down to work. If I have an issue at work, I address it straight away. I find that helps. That when you bottle things up, then it becomes an issue.
If I'm down, I sort of tend to think of my family at home. I mean, I've got 3 kids, well, they're adults now, but when they were little, I was sort of not depressed, but a bit anxious to get home to my kids. Because spending quality time with your family, I think that's the best therapy to get away from what you've gone through for the day.
Usually through food. So I like cooking, so I'll cook. I'll bake something and give it to people.
You're a good friend to have.
It's ask the guys here. They always say, "Oh, when are you making scones again? When are you making jam?"
Unfortunately, I eat. So when I'm feeling down, my go-to is eating, which is not ideal, but that's been my way of coping, managing. So eating is one thing that I do. Try to put myself in a better place by thinking better, more positive, but at times when you're down, it is a struggle to think positive. You've got to know your limits on how much you've got to take on board. I mean, now that I'm at this age now, I think I sort of tend to think a little bit more smarter, like sort of spread the workload right through the day. So it doesn't really, like some blokes tend to sort of go really hard first half of the morning and fatigue sets in then. And then at the same token, at the end of the day, you're looking at what you got left, then you're rushing even more to try and finish that day. So if you plan your day by spreading your workload right across the day, like in the time frame that you've got to do your work, you could probably manage it a little bit better that way.
If you have need of support, please call Lifeline on 131 114, Beyond Blue on 1300 224 636, 1800 RESPECT on 1800 737 732, Men's Line Australia on 1300 789 978, or 1300 Driver on 1300 374 837.